Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So, I'm Caitlin. I'm one of the grief coaches here with Lap of Love on the Pet Loss Support team, and I'm joined with Christina. She's also one of our grief coaches. And today we're just going to talk about different ways to honor our loved one in the season of love with Valentine's Day coming up, and different ways to embrace grief, and just some tips to help you through this grief journey. So, first, I'll let Christina share about grief.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Caitlin. And we all know that these holidays, whether they're one of those first that we experience on our grief journey or not, can be very difficult and very heavy. And I really believe that planning for them as much as possible is incredibly important, right? Whether you decide to celebrate it and look for ways to include your baby on this journey, or whether you just decide to stay at home and just do something that makes you feel good. That counts as a plan too, right? But it's important, first and foremost, of course, is to remind yourself of a couple of things on this journey. And the first one is to be kind to yourself, right? The most important person to show kindness to is yourself. And you want to show yourself the same love, compassion, and gentleness that you would show somebody you truly care about, right? That's the most important. But you also want to remember that wherever you are right now is exactly where you should be. Grief has no roadmap, no timeline, and it's definitely not linear, right? Everyone's grief journey is different, it's unique. So it's important not to compare that journey to anybody else's, but also not to compare your previous experiences with grief to this one. So be patient with yourself and meet yourself exactly where you are, right? And you also, it's important to honor that story, right? Honor your story and your journey and the life that you shared with your baby. It's always good to remember that when you honor that death, you are also honoring their life, right? Both of those things changed you. And you want to take those moments to really reflect on and celebrate that bond that you had with your baby. And then the last one that I want to just kind of touch on is to give yourself permission to have those emotions when they come. Do what you need to do for you. I think the greatest form of grace that we can give ourselves is the permission to feel our feelings, right? Your feelings are incredibly valid, and our grief needs that outward expression. There's that one quote that says, one who mourns mends, so you have to really feel your grief to heal your grief.
I love that, Christina. Thank you for sharing all those reminders. And again, just some little tips to take with you as you go through your grief journey and through this holiday. Just like Christina said, holidays can be just a stark reminder of your baby not being there. And especially talking about a holiday that's all about love, it can be tough to feel that moving through this when your baby's not here with you. So I just wanted to share some different memorials or rituals that you can do both on Valentine's Day this week, but then also as you continue through your grief journey. Like Christina said, one who mourns mends. And so giving yourself the space to put your feelings somewhere and honor your baby is really important. So you could have a memorial service for your sweet one, and you could do that again this week or just sometime in your grief journey. And a memorial service can look like inviting friends and family, different people in the vet community that had a part in your baby's life. Or you could just do this alone. This could just be something between you and your baby. At this memorial service, you could do a bubble release, and that's just releasing bubbles instead of balloons or lanterns. And there's a really sweet reading that we have that goes along with that. You can always reach out to us, and we'll talk about how to contact us at the end. We're happy to send that to you. Journaling is a great ritual you can do daily, or again on these holidays where it feels heavy. You can write a poem in there. You can write a song to your baby, or write lyrics to a song that makes you think about them. You can write down different stories or memories, or you can write letters to your baby as well. And you can just tell them how much you miss them, or again, just whatever, thoughts or feelings are popping up in your head, because I'm sure you carried on conversations with them when they were here in person with you. You can write an obituary for your baby. We have a website, Lap of Love, where you can create a little virtual memorial for your baby. Or if you just write a eulogy or an obituary and you share that on your Facebook, or again, you just keep that private, it can just be between you and them, that's fine as well. Candle lighting, something that's super easy. You can just buy, any candle that you see at a store. You can get a custom made one on Etsy, or you can get a battery operated one. I know a lot of people do that, and so they'll just leave the candle on all day. And you can do that at a time where it feels really heavy, like maybe in the morning when you are just really missing your baby, or you just do it again on those holidays. So you can do it all day on Valentine's Day. Taking a familiar walk, so the path that you used to go down with your sweet one, keep taking that path, going on that walk. It's good self care to get out and move. And you
Mhm.
could take their collar or their leash with you, so it feels like they're on the walk with you. Some people I know they buy flowers regularly. That's part of their ritual memorial for their baby. So every Friday they go out and buy fresh flowers for them. It brings some life and color into the home, and it's not a pet, but it's something to take care of in honor of them. And then if you have an area outside, you can always create a garden with the flowers that you're buying, whether you buried them there or you didn't, if you cremated them, whether or not you scatter their ashes. It's still nice to have a spot where you can go and sit with your baby. And if you journal, maybe pick up that journal and write to them while you're there.
Yeah.
If you are having a meal with family this week or on another holiday where it feels really tough and you're just missing your sweet one, you can have a moment of silence for them. You can donate a gift that you would have given to your pet this Valentine's Day to an animal at a shelter. And if you're just not ready to do that, there's different ways that you can volunteer, give back with your grief. You can go and donate towels or dog food or something that you have, or you can help people by creating a GoFundMe to raise money for a shelter, or you can establish a fund in your pet's name for families who can't afford vet treatments for their babies. And you can also, just like I said, just giving back in some way with your grief is always really healing. Using your hands to create something to honor them. So arts and crafts, little things like that. Even creating, if you have a garden, creating the little like stone outside. I know people who collect rocks and then paint on them. That can be really, really sweet. You can put pet tags on a key ring or put their collar on a planter around their food bowl if you still have that. You can create a memorial table in the center of your home. So you can put pictures of your baby on there, their ashes if you got them cremated and brought them back home, their toys that you still have, some blankets, different things like that. But I think if you put it at the center of your home where it's a focal point, you can't miss it. You see it every day. And so you think about them and honor them in that way. And you can also, talking about photos, put a picture of them somewhere that you go all the time. So you could put it on your nightstand or in your kitchen or even your bathroom because you're in there every day. And that gives you a space to just say hello or good night or goodbye or I miss you to that picture of your baby. And then finally, like I was saying, with your hands, creating a scrapbook, filling out photo albums, or even buying a digital photo frame can be really, really healing and just reminding you of all these memories that you have with your baby in the form of photos. And again, talking about Valentine's Day, if you used to dress them up in any cute outfits, printing those out, this week could be really sweet as well.
I love those, all of them. The fresh flowers to me is so lovely. We send them to or do them for our human loved ones. So I love the fact that we could do that for our fur babies as well. And one more thing before we go, I'm a firm believer in affirmations. Right, our minds are always recording everything that we say, everything that we hear. And I think that's why it's such a good important or so important rather to guard our hearts in our grief, not just from like outside sources, from what people are saying to us or what we're hearing, but also from ourselves, and that negative voice that pops up that tries to hurt us more than we're already hurting. That's why positive self-talk and affirmations are important in our daily lives, but also especially in our grief. Because what we say to ourselves and what we hear really does matter. And of course, at first, we're not going to believe the affirmations that we say, but that's not how they work, right? It's a daily practice and a daily reminder. And eventually, those words that we say to ourselves start to become our reality again. So I do want to share a few of our favorite affirmations with you. And the first one is, my grief can live alongside of joyous moments,
Mhm.
right? Your connection with your baby has never been rooted in your pain. It's always been rooted in your love for them. And experiencing that joy when your baby is not here is not a betrayal. So
Mhm.
remember that one. Another really good one is, I've always done the best I can, and I'm going to do that in my grief as well. Our best is always enough. So just
Mhm.
remember that. Another really good one is, others' opinion of my grief is their business. It's not mine. Don't pay attention to what society is telling you your grief should look like. Your grief journey is yours. So no one can dictate what that looks like but you. Another really good one I like is that I will be patient in my grief. There is no time limit. It takes as long as it takes, but our grief is always evolving. So we have to be really patient and gentle with ourselves through that. And then I love I deserve to find meaning and healing, even if I'm not sure how right now. That's okay, right? It will take time, it will come with time. And sometimes that takes a little self discovery and exploration. And then one more that I really love is I can be both productive and take time to sit with my grief. We talk a lot about how important it is to actively mourn, right? But it's also important to take those breaks every now and then. There has to be a balance.
Mhm. I love those, Christina. Thank you for sharing them. And, I think all of those are really good points about, just ways to think of ourselves in our grief journey and just ways to move forward. And I think affirmations are great. And I always think you can just write them on a sticky note, put them in your bathroom where you read them every single day. And that can be just so healing on your journey. So we wanted to
Absolutely.
open up the floor for any questions that anyone has about grief or different ways to memorialize your baby. We're here to answer. And I was going to say, I see a few people in the chat. Thank you guys for checking in. I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
Rose, absolutely. We have to give ourselves grace and be gentle with ourselves. Absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys like the affirmations.
Well, I don't see any more questions for us, but that doesn't mean that we're not still here for you. If you ever have any questions, the best place to get a hold of us is by email at petlawsupport@lapoflove.com. And just know that we're always here to support you, whether it be through the support groups or whether it be through personal support sessions. You can register for that on our website at petloss.lapoflove.com. Oh, there's a question here. How can we help our other pets grieve?
So I can speak on that really quickly. So something that I always recommend is talk to your pet that's still alive about your one that has passed away. They're so used to hearing their name. They're so used to having their presence in the home as well. So, when you're looking at your baby that's here and they seem really sad, just say, I miss Fluffy too. And then spill out whatever's on your heart. And that can be memories that you have, just how sad you are, whatever that looks like. And I think that can really help you and your baby that's alive really bond as well, because no one knew the one that passed away more than the both of you did. So if your baby that's still alive is a dog, I recommend keep going on walks. Again, self-care, it's good for both of you. And
Mhm.
it's, you're doing that routine. And I think that's the big thing too, is try to keep routines where you can as well. It'll help you in your grief journey and it'll help your other pet as well. And then also, if you can, it's not, it doesn't work out for everybody, but if you can keep your baby's beds and toys and blankets and things like that out and they don't affect you too much emotionally, I would, because animals are so scent oriented. They go throughout their whole life smelling things. So it might bring them some comfort having things that smell like their buddy that passed away. So I hope that that helps. Thanks, Rachel, for asking that.
Yeah, and there's another question about here. What if I'm looking for more ideas? Do you have any resources? And we absolutely do. We have a treasure of resources to give you. So if you have any questions or need resources for anything, again, the best way to get a hold of us is by email, petlosssupport@lapoflove.com, and just let us know what you need. And Katie says, I tell my other dog I love him and I miss him, or I miss my tea. Oh.
And speaking about resources too, there's a link to our website, our specific pet loss website, on in the chat, and that's also one way that you can get in contact with us too.
Exactly. All right, my friends. Well, it's been an honor to be here with you guys today. Again, if you need anything, just reach out. I hope you have a really gentle rest of your week and your day.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye,
Take
everyone.
care.